Hello? Is it me you're looking for? I'm sorry. I was just feeling it. 'Cause I want to win your heart. And I haven't got a clue. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep going. And I want to tell you how much I love you. Oh my gosh. Any Lionel Richie fans in the house? I'll bet not. I used to dig Lionel Richie. Come on. I'm an 80s baby. I'm Gen X. Bet there's a few of us here. Hello, you guys. My name is Deanna. I'm streaming out of Humboldt County, about Humboldt County to Humboldt County. Usually, that's my spiel anyway. But I'm also doing this series, The Making of America, this gigantic book. But we're making it fun because I'm streaming it live while I learn. So please lower your expectations. If you didn't know, I'm not actually like teaching this class. I'm learning it for the first time. So I decided I would throw my camera on and let you learn along with me if that's possible. I think it is. I think it's possible. Hello, Benjamin. Good to see you. Let's see. We are going through a course called The Making of America. And just real quick before we get started, and I want to get right into it today. It's Friday. I'm so ready for it to be Friday. Hey, Devil Dog, bring the fire. Oh, I don't know about right now. I'm a neutral constitutional student here. But this is an exciting one. I'm really excited because this is about the creator, you guys. So I actually haven't got to read this yet. I'm going to read it with you. It's only about 6 pages in our small book. So we're going to go through the questions. If you have not got your kit yet, well, then maybe you can't afford to get your kit, so you can follow along. But if you can afford to get your own kit, I really recommend that you do get your own kit because it's only about $67 and you'll get it in a few days. And then you can mark up your own kit and get all that free stuff too from the National Center for Constitutional Studies. Oh, they raised it like $1. It was like $67. There's one of the few things I've seen raised minimally, not price gouging. When I got my kit, I thought these guys can't be making any money. I got like 5 books, a DVD, a poster, all this stuff. I got it in 4 days. This is a great company. They have a lot of free resources here. So thank you, Devil Dog, for pointing us in that direction. Hey, Bonnie, learn me something. You're so funny. You busy in your workbook? Oh, okay. Maybe you'll have to come up here. Okay, guys, so we are in session 6. Yay! It's like number 26, 27, and we're on session 6. Woo! In case you're wondering, there's 31 of these, and we have to take them in small chunks because if we did the whole session in one sitting, it'd be like, I said 2 hours, and Double Dog said probably more, which is probably accurate. I'm not going to make the same mistake and read you both of these today. We're just going to read the 5th principle, the role of the creator. And before I read them, I'm going to read these questions. Before I read these 6 pages, I'm going to read these 6 questions. And then after I read it, we'll go back and we'll answer them. How about that? Okay, so here we go. How am I doing? We're 4 minutes in and we're going for it. So not bad, not bad. Number 1, this is from the 5,000-Year Leap. It says questions 1 through 6 pertain to preparing the cultural soil for the Constitution. Number 1, tell why John Locke concluded that an atheist was irrational. 2, explain the 5 steps, which according to Locke, everyone can know there is a divine creator. 3, describe several attributes of God, which Locke said would be easy for man to identify. 4, what are the 2 ways men learn about God's laws? What kinds of truths are made known by each method? 5, were the founding fathers deists? Give examples showing that the founders regarded themselves as being dependent on living, intelligent, benevolent, caring, and responsible God. And 6, of what were religious convictions to the validity of public oaths? Oh my goodness, learn me something. Well, color me purple. How's that saying go? I forgot how it goes. Hey, Eric, thank you for my pretty banner. So good to see you guys. It's Friday. Jerry. What's up, Jerry? All right, you guys, here we go. We're getting into the Constitution study now. Let me open up another one of them so we can have the words and the questions right there, although I'll just be reading for the next couple minutes. But I upload the study for the time I'm streaming. It will be there, but after that, it'll actually be there until I can get ahead of it. I'd love to have it there for you before I do class, but for now, this is what I can do. So until I can catch up and get ahead of things, which I don't know if will ever happen for me, this is the way it goes. So we are in the 5,000-year leap. And we're going to read pages 96 through 101. And I just read those questions. So here we go. Fifth principle, all things were created by God. Therefore, upon him, all mankind are equally dependent. And to him, they are equally responsible. The reality of a divine creator. The founders vigorously affirm. Oh, you know what? I'll bet you guys, can you hear me okay? I just realized my microphone was way, way, way over here. I'll bet that's better. Can you hear me better now? I'm so sorry. I was practicing something last night. It's working, right? My microphone is working, right? Does that even sound different? Because it was way over across yonder. It was way over across yonder. Okay. So sorry about that. The reality of a divine creator. The founders vigorously affirm throughout their writings that the foundation of all reality is the existence of the creator, who is the designer of all things in nature and the promulgator of all the laws which govern nature. Promulgator. I don't know how to pronounce that. The founders were in harmony with the thinking of John Locke as expressed in his famous Essay Concerning Human Understanding. In it, Locke pointed out that it defies the most elementary aspects of reason and experience to presuppose that everything in existence developed as a result of fortuitous circumstances. The mind, for example, will not accept the proposition that the forces of nature churning about among themselves would ever produce a watch or even lead pencil, let alone the marvelous intricacies of the human eye, the ear, or even the simplest of the organisms found in nature. All these are the product of an intelligent design and high precision engineering. Locke felt that a person who calls himself an atheist is merely confessing that he has never dealt with the issue of the creator's existence. Therefore, to Locke, an atheist would be to that external, irrational, and out of touch with reality. In fact, out of touch with the most important and fundamental reality. How can one know there is a God? In his essay concerning human understanding, John Locke insisted that everyone can know there is a divine creator. It is simply a case of thinking about it. Great books of the Western world. To begin with, each person knows that he exists. With Descartes, each person can say, cogito ergo sum. With God, each person can say, I am. Furthermore, each person knows that he is something. He also knows that a something could not be produced by nothing. Therefore, whatever brought man and everything else into existence also had to be something. It follows that this something which did all of this organizing and arranging would have to be all-knowing to the full extent required for such an organization and arrangement. This something would therefore have to be superior to everything which had resulted from this effort. This element of superiority makes this something the ultimate good for all that has ever been organized and arranged. In the Anglo-Saxon language, the word for supreme or ultimate good is God. Getting to know God. Man is capable of knowing many things about God, Locke said. The creator must of necessity be a cognitive, reasoning or thinking being, for man is a cognitive, reasoning being. Certainly a non-cognitive being like a rock could never have produced a cognitive being like a man. We may also know that the divine creator has a sense of compassion and love, for he gave mankind these sublime qualities. The creator would also reflect a fine sense of right and wrong, and also a sense of indignation or even anger with those who violate the laws of right actions. Let me repeat that. The creator would also reflect a fine sense of right and wrong, and also a sense of indignation or even anger with those who violate the laws of right action. In other words, God has a strong sense of justice. Remorse for wrong also arouses a sense of compassion in the creator, just as it does in human beings whom he designed. There are other attributes of man which human beings must necessarily share with their creator if man is made in the image of God. One would be a sense of humor. The creator must also be a great artist on the visual plane. Everything the creator organizes in terms of beauty through color, form, and contrasts. Obviously, man can enjoy only to a finite degree the capacity of his creator to appreciate the vast panorama of sensory satisfaction, which we call beauty. So, as John Locke says, there are many things man can know about God, and because any thoughtful person can gain an appreciation and conviction of these many attributes of the Creator, Locke felt that an atheist has failed to apply his divine capacity for reason and observation. The American founding fathers agreed with Locke. They considered the existence of the Creator as the most fundamental premise underlying all self-evident truth, the obvious. It will be noted as we proceed through this study that every single self-evident truth enunciated by the founders is rooted in the presupposition of a divine creator. Concerning God's revealed law, distinguishing right from wrong, the founders considered the whole foundation of a just society to be structured on the basis of God's revealed law. These laws constituted a moral code clearly distinguishing right from wrong. This concept was not new with the founders. This was the entire foundation of all religious cultures worldwide. It was particularly emphasized in the Judeo-Christian structure of the English law. No authority on the subject was more widely read than William Blackstone. He established the classes for the first law school at Oxford in 1753. His lectures on the English law were published in 1765 and were as widely read in America as they were in England. In his commentaries on the laws of England, Blackstone propounded the generally accepted idea that when the Supreme Being formed the universe, he organized it and then impressed certain principles upon that matter from which it can never depart and without which it would cease to be. San Francisco is where you can find those commentaries. Commentaries on the Laws of England, San Francisco, Bancroft Whitney. He then went on to say that the will of God, which is expressed in the orderly arrangement of the universe, is called the law of nature, and that there are laws for human nature just as surely as they exist for the rest of the universe. He said the laws for human nature had been revealed by God, whereas the laws of the universe, natural law, must be learned through scientific investigation. Blackstone stated that upon these two foundations, the law of nature and the law of revelation, depend on all human laws. As we shall see later, the attitude of the founders towards God's law, both natural and revealed, gave early Americans a very high regard for the law as a social institution. They respected the sanctity of the law in the same way that it was honored among the Anglo-Saxon and by ancient Israel. The nearness of God. It also important to note that the founders did not look upon God as some mysterious theological force operating automatically and indifferently in nature as modern deists claim, but they believed in a creator who is both intelligent and benevolent and therefore anxious and able to respond to people's petitions when they are deserving of needed blessings and engaged in a good cause. Days of fasting and prayer were commonplace in early America. Most of the founders continued petitioning God in fervent prayers, both public and private, and looked upon his divine intervention in their daily lives as a singular blessing. They were continually expressing gratitude to God as the nation survived one major crisis after another. George Washington. George Washington was typical of the founders in this respect. Charles Bracelin Flood discovered in his research that during the Revolutionary War, there were at least 67 desperate moments when Washington acknowledged that he would have suffered disaster had not been the hand of God intervened in behalf of the struggle for independence. Amen, I testify. After being elected president, Washington stressed these sentiments in his first inaugural address when he said, "No people can be bound to acknowledge and adore the invisible hand. No people can be bound to acknowledge and adore the invisible hand which conducts the affairs of men more than the people of the United States. Every step by which they have advanced to the character of an independent nation seems to have been distinguished by some token of providential agency." James Madison. Madison was equally emphatic on this point when he contemplated the work of the Constitutional Convention and saw the guiding influence of God just as Washington had seen it on the battlefield. Said he, "The real wonder is that so many difficulties should have been surmounted with the unanimity almost as unprecedented as it must have been unexpected. It is impossible for any man of candor to reflect on the circumstances without partaking of the astonishment. It is impossible for the man of pious reflection not to perceive in it a finger of that almighty hand which has been so frequently and signally extended to our relief in the critical stages of the revolution." And you can find that in the Federalist Papers. "In God we trust. From all of this, it will be seen that the founders were not indulging in any idle gesture when they adopted the motto, 'In God we trust.'" We're not on the right page. Oh, sorry. "Neither was it a matter of superfluous formality when they required that all witnesses who testify in the courts or before congressional hearings must take an oath or swear or affirm before God that they will tell the truth. As Washington pointed out in his farewell address, where is the security for property, for reputation, for life, if the sense of religious obligation desert the oaths, which are the instruments of investigation in courts of justice?" In fact, it was not at all uncommon, as Alexis de Tocqueville, I'm sorry, I keep touching this, discovered, to look with the greatest precaution upon an individual who had no religious convictions. He wrote, "While I was in America, a witness who happened to be called at the sessions of the county of Chester of New York declared that he did not believe in the existence of God or in the immortality of the soul. The judge refused to admit the evidence on the ground that the witness had destroyed beforehand all the confidence of the court in what he was about to say." In a note, de Tocqueville added, "The New York Spectator of August 23rd, 1831, related the fact in the following terms. The presiding judge remarked that he had not before been aware that there was a man living who did not believe in the existence of God, that this belief constituted the sanction in law that which gives binding force of all testimony in a court of justice, and that he knew of no case in a Christian country where a witness had been permitted to testify without such belief." This now brings us to the next important principles. Okay, so now we're going to go to the questions again. And hopefully... one of these got them up. Okay. Why did John Locke conclude? Well, we read all the answers. Now it's, I'm not going to go back and reread it all, but I want to read the questions again. Tell why John Locke concluded an atheist was irrational. We can just find that real quick. He just thought that was crazy. He pointed out it defies the most elementary aspects of reason and experience to presuppose that everything in existence developed as a result of fortuitous circumstance. The mind, for example, will not accept the proposition that the forces of nature turning about themselves would ever produce a watch or even lead pencil, let alone the marvelous intricacies of the human eye, ear, or even the simplest of the organisms found in nature. All these are the product of intelligent design and high precision engineering. 2. Explain the 5 steps by which, according to Locke, everyone can know there is a divine creator. 5 steps? I didn't see 5 steps. Oh, you make me work a little bit for that? Okay. Nora, did you do your homework? Happy Friday. Hey, Sean. 5 steps. Okay. How can one know there's a God? He wrote an essay. It is simply a case about thinking about it. He said, we can declare I am. With God, each person can say, I am. To begin with, each person knows that he exists. With Descartes, each person can say, cogito ergo sum. With God, each can say, I am. Furthermore, each person knows he is something. He also knows something cannot be produced by nothing. Therefore, whatever brought man and everything else into existence had to be something. It follows that this something which did all this organizing and arranging would also have to be all-knowing to the full extent required for such an organization and arrangement. This something would therefore have to be superior to everything which had resulted from this effort. This element of superiority makes this something the ultimate good. Okay, is that the answer? I don't know. 5 things. Did I miss this? 5 steps. No, I think we just read that. Those are the 5 steps. He found them to be irrational, and that's funny. Okay. 3, describe several attributes of God which Locke said would be easy for man to identify. He says that God is reasoning or thinking, cognitive, sense of humor, love, for he gave mankind these sublime qualities. He also said the creator would reflect a sense of right and wrong. And my favorite part, also a sense of indignation or even anger with those who violate the laws of right action. In other words, God has a strong sense of justice. Remorse for wrong also arouses a sense of compassion in the creator, just as it does with human beings whom he designed. Man is made in the image of God, sense of humor, and God, the creator, organizes in terms of beauty through color, form, kind. So I think that's the answer for that one. Let's look at the next question. What are the 2 ways? Well, they say 98 too. 98 too. Okay. It's all self-evident truth. That's the point, really. They all consider the existence of the creator as the most fundamental premise underlying all self-evident truth. That's like the obvious, right? That's the obvious. It is rooted in the presupposition of a divine creator. Can't have one without the other. What are the 2 ways men learn about God's laws? What kinds of truth are made known by each method? Let's see. Revealed law, moral code, concept. So Blackstone was the one who wrote he established the first classes of law at Oxford. So there's law there. And then we have Supreme being from the universe. He organized it, talking about God's laws, right? Commentaries on the laws of England. Common law. He's talking about common law. Then went on to say the will of God, which is expressed in the orderly arrangement of the universe, is called the law of nature, and there are laws for human nature. Those are the 2 laws. Okay. What kinds of truths are made known by each method? Upon these 2 foundations, the law of nature and the law of revelation, depend all human laws. As we shall see later, the attitude of the founders towards God's law, both natural and revealed, gave early Americans a very high regard for the law as a social institution. They respected the sanctity of the law in the same way that it was honored among the Anglo-Saxons and by ancient Israel. 5. Were the founding fathers deists? Give examples showing the founders regarded themselves as being dependent on a living, benevolent, caring, and responsible God. I definitely know we read that. Well, Washington himself acknowledged that. What did it say? What an amazing statement. Washington acknowledged he would have suffered disaster had not the hand of God intervened in behalf of the struggle for independence. No people can be bound to acknowledge and adore the invisible hand which conducts the affairs of men more than the people of the United States. Every step by which they have advanced to the character of an independent nation seems to have been distinguished by some token of providential agency. That was Washington. Ian Madison said, the wonder that so many difficulties should have been surmounted with a unanimity almost as unprecedented as it must have been unexpected. It is impossible for any man of candor to reflect on the circumstances without partaking of the astonishment. And 6, of what value were religious convictions to the validity of public oaths? Ooh, public oaths. In God we trust. Well, the validity was it didn't work when someone got up there and said he didn't believe in God, did it? What happened there? An individual who had no religious conviction said, while I was in America, there was a witness. He was called. He did not believe in the existence of God or the immorality of the soul. The judge refused to admit the evidence on the ground that the witness had destroyed beforehand all the confidence of the court in what he was about to say. It's interesting, isn't it? They just would disregard them. You don't believe in God? Well, you must not be in your right mind. In God we trust was not a matter of superfluous formality when they required all witnesses to testify. Their hearings must take an oath and swear or affirm before God they will tell the truth. Where is the security for property, for reputation, for life, if the sense of religious obligation desert the oaths, which are the instruments of investigation in courts of justice? What happened to you? What happened to you? That's what you got too? Oh, good. Good. All right. Well, then we did good. We're under 30 minutes. I am finished with the study. I've done the week. We're starting to pick up a little bit of the pace, I think. It's starting to get really, really fun and interesting. And it's just going to get better and better. I know it. And I'm so thankful to our friend Devil Dog for turning us on to this comprehensive study, so we can wrap our own minds, fill in our own dots, cross our own T's, dot our own I's, and figure out what is going on. What's our remedy? How do we deal with these people? And remember, it's not so much about our rights as it is about the government's limitations, right? All right. I love y'all so very much, and I hope I see you around. You are most welcome, everybody. Love you. Peace out.